Right, so I replaced a couple more components and I've installed some more wire bridges, like over here and over here. Those connections were broken. I repaired this wire bridge, and this is just a complete mess because of all of the solder pads are missing and there's a trace missing, so that's what that wire is for. And I also changed the wire in here. It was well, the insulation of the green wire isn't just that temperature resistant, so I replaced that. I also replaced this diode. It was broken and it caused the transistor that's over here to blow continuously. So in fact I had the last transistor that was available in the Netherlands installed in here. Excuse me, that's the one that's installed in here right now. I have some more on the way from China because they're quite hard to come by these days. So this is good, that is good. I refitted the original inductor because the new inductor I got was this plastic one and it just, yeah, couldn't handle the current. So that's gone. And the diode that's in here right now, I got that from over underneath the probe here, and I put a new one in there. Those diodes are actually still available. You can buy them new. They are the ones marked A6. So 13, 14 and 15 over here are also marked A6, just like the one over there and the one over there. And they are BAS16 diodes in a SOT23 package. I also found a proper replacement for the MOSFET that was blown from the beginning, the Q29 MOSFET, and let me just see if I can. It's right underneath here, right over there. It's as I said before, it's an N-channel MOSFET, power MOSFET. And the one I got to replace it is the ZXMN6A11ZTA in a SOT893 package. It's a 60 volt N-channel power MOSFET and it fits in there exactly. And I checked every other component and I'm pretty sure it should work right now. I was getting some weird stuff on the negative 9 volt rail and on the 18 volt internal power rail, and I was able to check that because I got myself a Christmas present. As you can probably tell from the 4 probes, I decided to just get a decent oscilloscope. Channel 1 is connected to the positive 12 volt rail. Channel 2 is connected to the negative 22 or something about there volt rail. Channel 3 is connected to the negative 9 volt rail, and channel 4 is connected to the 5 volt rail. Let's single shot and turn it on. Okay, there we go. So we have 4.83, so basically 5 volts, minus 22 volts, minus 9.1, and 11.9. And okay, so it's still blinking. Huh, that's weird. I mean, it should just, if we run it. Then turn it on. Nope. Still goes into protection mode. I was just fiddling around with it and I noticed something weird. When I was pressing down in this area, the power supply would actually power up and it would keep running. So I used this little plastic tool that's broken but doesn't matter to push down on various components over here. And when I push down on my little jumper link right here, so when I push down on that jumper link, the PSU would power up. Now from the camera angle it looks like there's a solder bridge here, but there actually isn't, so that's all good. So I resoldered this jumper link. I tinned the trace a bit better, verified it made contact, and it had a low resistance. Now it's actually 0.4 something ohms, which will probably be more like 0.1 because of the internal resistance of my multimeter wires. But now, when I plug in the power, we got a solid red LED, and the 5 volts for the IC13 is on, and we get nothing on the scope output, obviously, because it is off right now. But let me get this into view a bit better. When I turn it on, there we go. It's working. So we've got 12 volts, no blinking LED, and it's actually running. I have verified all the voltages and everything looks, yeah, it looks fine. So 12.4 volts or thereabouts. And let me just get the multimeter so you guys can see as well. Like that. So we get the 12 volt rail, so that's good. We get the 5 volt rail, that's good as well. And we get the minus 9 volts, that's good. And then we get the minus 22 volts, and that's good as well. So it looks like it's working. Now, I'm going to put this into the working machine to verify it actually works, and then I'm going to try to put it in the corroded machine to see if that motherboard is any good and everything works as expected. So yeah, I can actually power cycle it a couple of times. I tested it, and yeah, it just seems to be working just fine. So, winning. Okay, the PSU from the first machine is in this machine right now. The PSU from this machine is lying over here, as you can see. This is the newer one. And time to see if it actually works inside a machine. So, plug in the power cord. And we have DC in. And there we have it, it's working. This is awesome. Ha! Oh man, this has been months, literally. I got the first machine in the end of September, the beginning of October, and now it's December 20th. So yeah, that really took a long time and a lot of work. But yeah, it's working. It's working fine. Brightness control. Ooh, that's contrast. It's, yeah. Perfect. Ooh, I pressed the button there. Okay, so let's see if the first machine also works, if the motherboard is okay. So here we have the first machine. It's positioned a bit haphazardly, but I had to make sure I'm not shorting anything out, so everything is fine. CPU board is in, RAM board is in, PSU is in, and the LCD is connected, and I also connected the speaker. Didn't connect the hard drive controller or anything. It doesn't need it. It's just to see if it powers up and if it can enter the BIOS. So plug in the power. Cross our fingers and power it up. It's working. Oh man, this is awesome. There is some weird sounds coming from the LCD, from the driver, but yeah, you do have brightness control. Ah, the sound changes with the brightness. So yeah, that's probably the inverter board in this LCD. That's not great, but yeah, there we have it. Memory test, okay. 896K. And then it just stops because obviously there's no floppy drive or hard drive connected. But it does post, so it actually works. Finally. So now we can get on to actually restoring the exterior of the machine. Great. And I have cleaned up my desk. Since we're done soldering, we can get on with the rest of the machine, or machines. But first I'm working on the first machine, the T1600 with the 20 megabyte corner hard drive. And I have tried some things with retrobrighting, and yeah, just look at that. I mean, it has some yellowing over here still, and it has some yellowing over here still, and overall it looks way better. There's still a bit of yellow over here, but it's mostly gone. It should be this color right here, and it's kind of hard to get on camera, the color difference, but there's a slight yellowing here still. I will try to retrobright this some more, but it's been in my aluminium foil and nail polish curing UV lamp box for about, I'd say, 5 hours today and 4 hours yesterday, with cream peroxide and foil wrapped around it. And I'm doing that because I live in the Netherlands and it's the middle of December right now, so not the best conditions to do retrobrighting outdoors. It's cold, it's rainy, it's mostly overcast, so yeah. But this looks amazing already. I mean, if you just if you compare it to, for instance, the side of the keyboard, you can see the difference very, very clearly. And if we take the, let's see, right, if we take the LCD, the back of the LCD cover, it's just, it's night and day. It's way better already. I'm not quite satisfied, but it's almost there. And also I have repaired this corner, and I, as you can see, should have done that before retrobrighting because it's a bit more yellow. So yeah, it doesn't really come across on camera, but it's quite a bit more yellowed. But it's in there, and I have also reinstalled the, yeah, what is it, nut thingy that should be in there, and I also welded, because I actually used the acetone welding technique, because this is ABS. That's also why it discolors it or yellows as much. But acetone actually melts ABS, so this is welded in here, and this is actually in there quite good. In fact, I just did this about 5 minutes ago, and it's already stuck, so I can actually lift it by the repaired corner right there. So that this will need some more retrobright, and of course all the other parts need retrobright as well. But I also removed all the keycaps using my keycap puller, of course. Don't use a screwdriver, you'll break them. Next we are going to clean the keyboard because, yeah, there's just all kinds of grime and goo and hairs and skin flakes and bleh.